We have a full moon during a lion's gateway, and this could potentially be a pretty big push for a lot of people because, as you all have heard me say over and over again, this year's overriding theme and frequency is sovereignty. Everything is really pushing us into the truth of our sovereignty. Being able to see sovereign choice. Are we choosing sovereignty? Or are we doing a slide into fear and wanting someone else to alleviate our fears, to someone else to take responsibility for what's going on within our lives, within the world, instead of saying, wow, this is presenting an observation point of choice for me. What do I want? Do I want fear or do I want to be sovereign? So expect this full moon tomorrow to potentially stir some shadows, because there's never any escaping the truth. So we cannot escape our shadows, nor can we escape the truth buried beneath them. We often focus so deeply upon struggles, all these struggles that show up in our lives, suffering that shows up in our lives, then we miss the opportunities. We miss the opportunity to see our sovereign choice in every situation. We forget to understand that what we call karma, what we call struggle, what we call suffering, is really only a balancing the scales of energy. That's all karma really is. If we really think about it, if we really settle into it without fear, all karma means is we're balancing the energetic scales. We can choose to walk through the accountability and responsibility of balancing the energetic scales through the many opportunities presented to us moment to moment. Or we can choose to blame the situations that arise in our lives that are trying to perfect the balancing on our own terms, with our own conscious awareness, so we can grow out of cycles of extreme energy balancing. So while we're on this path of balancing the scales, this is where we master grace. This is where we master the frequency of graceful living, of moving through these opportunities with clarity, where we respond instead of reacting. And that's what I see that hangs most people up when they're doing their shadow work, is going into those extremes, becoming highly reactive. Or some people are incredibly passive. They choose to sit on the bench of love and light and not respond to any cycles that are going on in their life, and they can often become stagnant. They can be stuck in their knowing, become really rigid, and often place some control dynamics on other people of passivity, of just, loving everything through it. But that's avoidance. That truly is avoidance, because the truth is that we go through this beautiful cycle of moving deeper and deeper through our shadows into our truth. And the only way that we can do that is with grace, is just understanding it's part of the growth process. And the only reason that struggle or suffering occurs is because we're resisting it. We're resisting the present moment as it is. We're resisting the truth of the present moment. Well, maybe we're avoiding feeling what we're feeling. because we have that attachment that we have to be in extreme expressions of joy and bliss at all times. We have to be in extreme expressions of love. We can be in love while we honor whatever's arising for us at that very moment. And that's the gift of grace. Grace allows us to balance every experience within the wholeness of everything that it is. Grace allows us to move through the shadows with deep reverence to the truth that it is revealing to us. Sometimes it's the truth of the sorrow of an experience we had, the hurt of the betrayal that we're feeling at that moment, while at the exact same time holding love for ourselves and for our experience with another person who may not fully understand their actions, the energy that they're putting forth, and what they're going to have to cycle through once more until they balance out the energy that they have just put out. So we can have that unconditional love towards ourselves and others while we're honoring the truth of the experience at that very moment. Because what that does is it keeps us out of a reactive state. It keeps us in our ability to respond gracefully, to be able to set boundaries with ourselves and with others. Maybe we need to set a boundary with ourselves that we won't go into a reactive state. When we're setting our boundaries, we'll just simply state the truth of our boundary without becoming hyper-emotional, not becoming defensive, placing our energetic frustrations onto another. Just a very matter-of-factly, this is not going to happen. This is not something I want to experience. I'm done. And what that does is it breaks the cycle with the other person. Because if we become frustrated and we become reactive and dump on them, then we've just created another cycle that needs to find its balance. So it's going to be a dumping phase is going to be returned back to us. And so we just matter-of-factly just end the cycle. No, I'm good. I'm done with this cycle. And that allows us to begin to step out of them and create conscious awareness. We also can set boundaries with ourselves in knowing that we truly do not want to experience suffering and struggle any longer. So we take responsibility for the energy that we put out in our life by responding to situations that need taken care of with speaking our truth and letting the rest go, loving the situation, loving ourselves through this situation, not going into blame or judgment towards ourselves or others. Just matter-of-factly being honest about what's happening and what we no longer would like to experience, or creating what we do want to experience, actioning it, not making excuses, not sitting on the sidelines with fear and letting fear talk us out of it. And this month, we're going to feel that push of gracefully moving through our shadows to discover our shine, discover our truth, see the truth, create conscious awareness in our life of what we create, taking responsibility for our creations, becoming accountable to our creations, because that puts us in the driver's seat of our life. That allows us to be deeply in our knowing of our truth, while we surrender to the understanding that it isn't the entire truth, it's our truth at this moment. We speak it, we let it be what it needs to be, and then when a higher perspective, an aha cosmic nudge comes along, we surrender to releasing everything that we know at that moment to move into a higher perspective of knowing. This is the art of remaining humble in your truth, being open to growing into deeper truths as they arise. And that's how we become incredibly sovereign souls. So this month, during this wonderful 8/8 Lionsgate energy, especially tomorrow during the full moon, watch what arises. Look at your shadows. Be willing to surrender to the truth of what your shadows are presenting to you. Be able to see the truth of the information. Be able to honor it. Whatever feelings may arise, allow them to arise, because they're trying to show you something. They're trying to show you a path of grace. They're trying to help you move through this beautiful spiral journey a little lighter, with a little more joy, because you're not packing around that old energy. So much love. Be in your joy. Be in your love, and allow yourself to be in whatever arises moment to moment. Even if it needs a little more attention, a deeper breath, a longer pause, allow it to show you the truth of every opportunity. Allow it to show you the truth of everything you've experienced, so you can grow into it and grow out of it into highly refined expressions of your truth without as many messes. So enjoy the ride.